Hello everyone, welcome to the reading. This reading will be for the energetic storyline of Chloe Bailey. Let's look into how the public is handling her current darker themed energies. I'll choose 5 cards from the deck. Also, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. So they feel like it's a change compared to what they observed from the past. You know, they're definitely seeing the other side of the coin, but they're appreciating it. You know, it's kind of like a different sort of vibe for them. You know, it's a more balanced situation because like what they were getting before was what it was before. And the fact that they're being introduced to this more sort of like darker theme is sort of just like balancing out the energies for her and sort of like for them as far as like entertainment wise. They feel as though that she's kind of abrasive though, you know, sort of like with the messages that she put out or how she responds to people, that it can be kind of harsh and a bit forceful, but she's basically in line with her truth is what I'm seeing. So that's what that's about. Yeah, they figure that it's definitely harsh. They're also feeling like it's a sort of like spiritual element to this, sort of like layered spiritual situation going on. So you take that as you want. But yeah, they definitely want to see more, you know. This is the energy of growth. So what this is showing me is that like all this sort of like different energies and sort of like different stuff that she's getting into, that she's showing, is definitely sparking sort of like curiosity. So, yeah, they just want to see more of what she's doing. They also can appreciate sort of like that she's multifaceted. Sort of like she could dance, she can sing, you know what I mean? All the other previous stuff. You know, it's sort of just like these darker energies are kind of like showing new layers of herself, you know, new aspects. So they're definitely curious to see more. That's what I'm getting. Let's see what Chloe Bailey's energies are since after performing at the VMAs. I'm gonna pull 5 cards for that as well. Interesting. She definitely feels like a lot of people are sort of like projecting their fears, anxieties, sort of like their negativity on sort of like her, obviously. Well, let's look deeper. So this is sort of like, oh, sorry, I like it to be kind of like lined up better. Sorry about that. Okay. Oh wait, no, not that one. My bad. I gotta get it together. So yeah, she's basically sort of like in the energy of like whatever needs to happen needs to happen. Sort of just like she's uncomfortable at the moment, you know. So it's kind of like since she's really uncomfortable, she's being sort of like put in that energy of like whatever the universe is going to do, let it do. You know, sort of just like she's getting a lot of heat at the moment from different people. You know, this has to do with her foundation, sort of like people around her, sort of like even people that don't know her, obviously people online and all that stuff. And I think this was coming up in her other reading I did for her. But this is kind of like a lot of people are just kind of like directing a lot of hate and sort of just like all sorts of like intense energies her way. So she's trying to find her zen like mode with handling it. You know, she's trying to find her peace. But what this is showing me is that she's definitely caught up in her head. You know, sort of just like she appreciates her performance, she loves it, you know, she thinks it's cool, but sort of like all the like different talks online and conspiracies and all that stuff, it definitely has her caught up in her head and it's bothering her. So what's being shown to me is that she might take a break after this. You know, she definitely feels like she's been sort of like pushed over the edge as far as like the hate that she's been receiving. So it's kind of just like she's gonna need to detox, and she's definitely aware of it. But what's being shown to me is that it's almost like a contradiction. It's like she needs a detox and she's going to like try to detox and like not pay attention to what's happening online and all that stuff. But it's kind of like, even though she might not be trying to pay attention to it, she's still bound to sort of like push out other different projects in situations like that. But it has her caught up in her head, kind of like she doesn't like how she's been received. So it's kind of just like it put a damper on her passions, and it kind of has like her mind really foggy, because it's like she's really passionate about, you know, living her truth and sort of like exploring sort of like different energies and all that. But because people kind of don't understand it, it kind of has her a little bit uncomfortable to sort of like show it and all that. But yeah, that's where her current energies are as far as that goes. So let's see. Will her exaggerated sexual performance pan out well energetically for her? So let's see. Will her exaggerated sexual performance pan out well for her? So it definitely has her in some serious like thoughts. You know, it has her a bit like frozen in fear, kinda. It's kind of just like the energies that was directed towards her kind of has her like basically like trapped in her mind. You know what I mean? It kind of like wounded her. You know, this is showing me energies that she's really sensitive. You know, so it's kind of just like those are her energies. But let's see how's the energies going to affect her as far as, I guess, what she's doing. Again, it's showing me that sort of like all this sort of like over-exaggerated sexual energies that she's sort of like putting out, it's going to kind of like come back to bite her, sort of like, because it's kind of like, yeah, it's who she is, and yeah, it's like what she wants to do and all, but I guess the fact that she sort of like dished it out so heavy, you know, it kind of didn't give people sort of like enough time to digest it. You know, she didn't like put it out in increments, so it's kind of like the fact that she went like full force kind of has the energies not so right. So that's what's going on with that. So let's see, what does the universe have in store for her? I'm gonna pull 4 cards from the deck. It's definitely trying to teach her to just go with the flow. So what the universe has in store for her is just like allowing her to appreciate all sort of like sides of herself. Sort of just like, you know, from the sexual stuff, from the darker stuff, from like, you know, even the wholesome stuff. All of that are sort of like pieces to a puzzle. Like it's all her. You know what I mean? Like these different aspects and sort of like vibes and energies, it all makes her up. You know, it's sort of just like she's sort of like uncomfortable with sort of like displaying different situations, but the universe is going to get her to appreciate those sort of like sides of herself, and that's what she's going through currently. You know, it's kind of just like the universe wants her to be almost like a kid, almost like sort of just like free to be who she is, you know, not be caught up with what other people expect, or like what other people consider right. It's kind of like her almost being in tune with her duality, you know, because at the current moment she's kind of like conflicted with sort of just like what would be considered the light side of herself and the dark side. So the universe just wants her to be basically in balance with it. You know, it's going to teach her also to just have fun. You know, she can be very serious as far as like her image goes and sort of like her craft and what she projects. But it wants her to just sort of like enjoy the experience. You know, this is a very like special position she's in, but it's also about sort of like appreciating it, you know, like having fun with it. It's also teaching her that she doesn't have to do so much. Kind of like being simple is cool as well. Like you don't have to have such a huge production. You know what I mean? Like sort of like being ordinary will help her to connect with people as well. Like, you know, it's not all about sort of like intensity and sort of just like a whole lot of shit. You know, it's all about just balance. So the universe is just going to help her to appreciate herself, like her deeper self. And it's also teaching her just to have fun and just to relax, you know, and just basically appreciate sort of like normal everyday things, you know. But yeah, that was the reading. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Thanks.